All right, fans, welcome back. Dave Tingley, voice of the Tide, here again. This time, welcoming Todd McKillop, the coach of the Tide, to our little pregame sit-down. So, Coach, you were on the old podcast with me and Brock Gallant, so you'll know this question, but honoring Brock, when did you fall in love with the game of basketball?
Probably grade 4-ish, when on the weekends, there was no minor basketball way back then, but on the weekends, the leadership class at Harrison Trimble used to open up the gym, and all the kids from the neighborhood would go there and play. And they made hoops that would hook over, like mini hoops that would hook over.
Remember those?
They would just hook over and hang down, and that was my first real exposure. And then after that, it became Alexander Park, a legendary park over in my hood where I grew up.
Yeah, Alexander Park.
Where I spent many, many hours. And then the real awakening was Brian Forsyth. And
getting him already. He was coming up.
Yeah, Brian Forsyth, when I hit grade 10, took it to a different level. But before Brian, I had Kenny Kerwin in grade 9. So I was lucky. I've been lucky to fall into really good people growing up that laid it out for me just to.
And what's your best memory as a player?
Best memory as a player.
Might be obvious to me, but maybe not.
As a player, I lost 2 provincial championships.
Yeah.
But both the second one we lost is been dubbed the greatest high school championship game of all time in New Brunswick, where Glenn Reed pretty much hit a shot from 2 steps over center, and it was a typical Hollywood ending in their gym, and the ball bounced around on the rim after the horn went and then fell in. So that's not the greatest part, but again, the shots go away, and the memories of the van trips and the hotel trips and all those things, kind of those epic relationship things. But as a player, there was a lot of stuff at St. FX and a lot of stuff at Trimble and senior men's. Had some great senior men's teams I played on here in Moncton with Brian Thompson, Richie Sullivan, Thor Olsen, me, Alvo Tor. Oh, yeah. We had some great runs where I think we were called at that time the Pitney Bow Snappers. The Snappers, for those who know, is a legendary group in this city. But
Snappers,
we, lots of good memories of just playing with really good guys all the time.
And circling back to Forsyth and your time at X, you've had the good luck of playing under multiple legends, not just good coaches, but legends around here. So what's the most important lessons you took for them, whether it's practice habits, dealing with guys personally one-on-one, managing games? What's the biggest 1 or 2 or 3 lessons that you took from those guys that you carry with you today?
Well, and I don't know who told me this, but the first one, it was probably an assistant coach of Brian's, was, take the best, leave the rest type of concept when you're looking at your mentors. And I can't remember, it was Ed McNally helped coach one year and kind of gave you that kind of thing when you're looking at people. No one's perfect. I don't think anybody's perfect, and don't put people on a pedestal. People are people. And Brian was an amazing practice coach in the way he taught the game and the discipline he brought. He took a bunch of guys from the Parkton area and Humphrey Street area, and he kind of built us into young men. All the stuff that, we couldn't travel without ties. That was before anybody was doing it. That there were standards to be held, and that the commitment to Harrison Trimble basketball was 12 months a year. And if you wanted to get to the next level, and he always gave us that goal of, you're here, do you want to get there? And if you do, here's the formula. And it was, a lot of discipline, hard work, drive, and when you didn't, he drove it for you. But that was the one thing about and teaching the game. It's such small fundamental levels. And then I luckily had the ability to go to X and play for Steve Kachelski, who taught. The biggest thing was, you didn't get here by an accident. So believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Be loyal to the team, and everything takes care of itself. And Steve really pushed that And both Brian and Steve, both Acadia grads too, funny enough. Steve a little before Brian, but not much. They both kind of had similar styles and completely different styles at the same time. So,
well, and that gets to, like, Doug. I'll spoiler alert, but Doug sang your praises a little bit in our interview. Doug Thomas, when he said what a good players coach you are, and that can take a negative connotation, right? Like, you're easy on the guys, but he talked about how you've got that balance of when to push them and when not to. You know, he says everybody's gotten through the year pretty healthy, because you know when to push guys and when, okay, guys are banged up, I'm going to leave them alone. So he's, you know, you've had that balance. You know, Brian was known as a bit of a yeller and a screamer, and Kinchelski not so much. You get that little balance in there.
And that's like, and again, that I appreciate Doug saying that, but you've known me a long time. There was one time when I was a screamer and a yeller too, you know. Maturity is a great thing.
Me too, yeah.
Maturity is a great thing.
Yep.
And again, getting to coach young men opposed to teenagers is, you know, a little bit different.
Yep.
The frustration level can still be there, just different. And, you know, just understanding, and again, it could be that I'm in my, you know, I'm about my 10th month, 11th month of coaching this year. So I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm breaking down. So if I'm breaking down, I don't run. So, but again, it's just a respect. The biggest thing I got, and again, a lot of the mentors that I've hooked onto are people I've never met. Like, you know, I'm big, and you know this, I'm a big John Wooden disciple. I'm a big Mike Krzyzewski disciple, and those guys talk about relationships, right?
Yeah.
And coaching is really about relationships. And if you can make that work, then basketball works.
Yeah, and I mean, I lost a bet with Coach Chapman, so Coach Steve Chapman, before the year. Todd's not going to come back after we had a bit of a negative experience the last pro team around this city, and we talked about that a little bit with Dustin, but I was, he's not going to come back in that situation. So what brought you back to this one where you went, this will be more fun than the last time around?
Well, it was Dustin, really. Like, I sat down, and again, when we had our first meeting, I think at the Tim Hortons on St. George Boulevard, and I had a lot of questions, and Dustin just kind of laid out his vision. And I got
pizza at the Tide and Board, by the way. You got shortchanged.
And I kind of told them what my vision, and they kind of blended really nicely. And again, it wasn't really Dustin or me. It was for me selling it to Angie at home. Was the biggest sell, because again, she takes the emotional hit more than I do. I can kind of let it go, but it was hard. What happened before, which I'm not going to talk about, was as hard on her, harder than it was on me, really. Yeah. And again, she just doesn't want to see me get hurt and get into a situation that, you know, potentially could hurt your career if I'm going to look to continue to coach for, you know, another 10 years or so, 12 years. But it was Dustin's vision for where he was going with the team and the plan on how to get there made sense. And all the questions I didn't ask the last time or thought so. But live and learn, right? Maturity.
Exactly.
It's a maturity thing.
So on that topic, I know, you know, at this level especially, coaches and the management have to work together. You know, you got a budget you got to adhere to, but you want to bring in the best players. So what kind of blueprint did you guys imagine of? Was it the, you know, did you get guys that matched your vision, or did you, okay, we got these quality guys coming in, now I got to adapt what I do to that group?
Well, and Dustin asked me in one of those early meetings, like, what are you looking for? And I said, what we have to do is we have to dig deeper than just talking to an agent. Right? We need to talk to coaches. We need to find out what type of men they are, what type of teammates they are, and, you know, and I don't know if you know Dustin well enough, but he kind of lives, eats, you know, so he's so invested when he got to putting the team together. And then you put like the dog on the bone, Andrew Sharp, who will dig so deep to get into the background. And really, I was just giving kind of like, okay, yep, good, yep, no, yep, good. And they put the team together, mostly. I had say, they did most of the work.
The legwork.
I knew my work was coming after. And again, people have asked me, like, the team seems like so tight. And it was all the groundwork they did before the season and going into the draft and putting them together. Yeah. And again, it's not a huge amount of time. But boy, oh boy, these guys came together really fast once we got them here.
And I've said it to everybody, privately and publicly, it's the nicest group of guys
Very nice,
that I've seen around these pro teams since the Miracles. I mean, really, they're just good dudes. So your teams are known for a solid team defense dynamic, and also I talked to Doug about this too. Kind of that diplomatic offense. The ball finds the open guy. You're not funneling shots to one or two superstars. So is that an appealing type of thing for guys at this level?
I don't know if it's appealing, but they bought into it. Yeah. They seem to have bought it. Again, we tend to be professionally young with DQ and CJ and Kendall, and these guys are either brand new or within a year of being new.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how difficult it is to win pro at any level with guys, this many new guys.
But again, that might be the formula, because they all bought into, again, all I can do is I'm a salesman. This is how I think we should play. This is what I think we should do. And whether they do it or not as a group, again, bringing in the right type of young men is key to their, with the right type of respect and the right type of, character, makes it much easier.
Well, and Dustin made a good point. You've only cut one guy this year, and it's because he was hurt.
Right.
I mean, it was really the only, that's a rarity in this business. So obviously you're a fan of all those guys. We got some all-stars and stuff, but what's maybe one guy that hasn't gotten as much pub that you want to make sure the fans know this guy contributed maybe more to winning than you realize this year? Is there one or two of those guys?
Well, I think it's the guys on the bench that, could sit for a couple games and not get big minutes, and then there comes a point where a guy's out for the weekend, or we get in foul trouble really quick and we got to play a different style. And Brandon Neal, Tommy Ephraim, James French, Devon, at times when those guys go in after, could be sitting quite a while, they always produce and they always do what's needed. And again, it's not always smooth, because again, I played on teams where I sat on the bench, and if it gets a little long, it's hard. Especially, and I said to the team, I tell the team straight up, the hardest role in the team is the bench, because you warm up and then you got to sit, cool down, and then they expect you to go out and be warm and ready to go. Right? It's the hardest role on a team.
And is this time of year a kind of a unique challenge for coaches? It obviously is. You've got a team you haven't seen before, and you got to create a kind of a game plan from whole cloth. But is that process of taking game tape and turning it into a game plan? Is that a fun challenge this time of year? Is that something like, Sharpie, you do that? I'm going to do the other.
No, we both do it. Yeah. Sharpie's been working on the kind of the video component of it. I do the breakdown of like the player and what they do and the weeks, how we have to play them. DC Heat's a nice team. They're a really nice team. They're a little bit small, but they're big. They're one big. I think Allen is his name. Is a tough, good low post player. Passes the ball to the high post. So it's going to be a really good challenge. But just like anything, it's almost like starting the season over. The focus has to be on us. We have to do what we need to do. If we can do that to the level we need to do it when we're in the playoffs, then let the chips fall where they will.
And that kind of led into my last question. So you got to balance the desire. I know, when I get to playoff time with a high school team, you got to balance that desire of, okay, I got to throw some new stuff in, make you a little scout proof maybe, but you also got to rein that in a little bit, because you want to play. If you've gotten to 20-3, it's for a reason. You kind of want to redo the whole game plan. You want to play the way you have all year.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, you can watch us do it on film. Yeah. It's not the same as playing against it. Person, and again, this was a whole Coach K saying is they can know that we do. They still got to try to stop it. Right? And everything we've done this year, and again with the maturity, I've learning through a lot through Crandall actually about when to put stuff in, and when we have been running the same stuff all year, and we just do wrinkles to make it look a little different, but it's similar stuff. So it's not okay, we need to learn something new. Right? We're going to run flex, but we're going to run it out of Iverson now. So it's still flex. It's not out of horns, but it has a completely different feel defensively on how you go through the whole thing. So we've been just taking what we all season, and when we'd add something, it was a wrinkle on something we already had. And that seems to have worked quite well.
It has, fans. 20-3 is the record. The playoffs start Thursday night, 7 p.m. in this building. Be here or join us on TBL TV, but make sure you do join us for the start of the playoffs. DC Heat against your Tri-City Tide.